Okay, Mother Teresa today, A Simple Path. Now, we all know Mother Teresa's name, and we all think she's fantastic, but I'm going to highly encourage you to actually learn about her. She really wasn't a writer. There's really not much that she actually wrote, although maybe there's a collection of letters somewhere that I haven't found. I'll go out and look for that. But there are a lot of books about her, and there's one movie in particular which I own, which I'm going to link for you, that is really fantastic, that especially focuses on the period, the transition period, in detail between when she was teaching and when she received her call from God to do the work that she felt called to do, and why that happened and how it happened, and it's a really, really beautiful, really well done. This one was done later in her life. It's called A Simple Path, and there's probably a handful that you could get that would be really valuable, but this is the one I have, and I really, really like it because what happened was that these people came to her and they were like, okay, we want to do a book on you, and she's like, I'll read the section for you so you can see. They went and they said, we really want people to know about your work, and we want to write about what you're doing. We want to write especially words from you and your advice to people about how to have the kind of happy, productive, giving life that you've had. And she says, at first, Mother Teresa was unsure at the prospect of yet another book. She said she doubted if any more words would bring anyone closer to understanding the meaning of her mission. It was all so simple, she said. Why should anyone need a guide to her simple path? All we or anyone else needed to do was to pray and to start loving one another more. So they really considered that, like, maybe she's right, maybe we shouldn't do this. And so that they went and they visited a whole bunch of the hostels that were kind of part of her, what's it called, like her mission ministry thing that she had made into a specific, I can't remember what it's called right now, specific mission, the Missionaries of Charity. And they went and visited the poor, and they visited a bunch of the branches of it, and they talked to a bunch of people, and they said that we visited these and other homes several times, and the experience made us absolutely sure that a book which would help us learn how to pray, how to love more easily, how best to offer service to others, and so on, was needed indeed. And so they said they were offered more and more help on the project by Mother Teresa and her community especially, and they began talking to Mother Teresa at great length on a wide variety of subjects. And then they went out to the Missionaries of Charity, and they said, our search led us to individuals from many parts of the world who had volunteered in the Missionaries of Charity homes, and finally Mother Teresa and her order saw and approved the text and wished it well. So they passed this by her and some of the leaders in her missionary efforts, and they approved of what they had compiled in this book that was her message to the world and what she calls her simple path. The book begins with an introduction that is kind of a little biography on her that's really good to read, to find out a little bit more about who she was and how she was called. And then it says, before reading on, and it says, an Indian admirer of Mother Teresa, a businessman, once had 5 lines shown on page one, printed for her on small yellow cards. These she calls her business cards, and she offers them freely to people because they clearly explain the direction of her work, her simple path. So these are the 5 lines that are on her card, and it's called The Simple Path. The 5 words that she really believed in were silence, prayer, faith, love, and service. And this is what it looks like. I squared around the simple path. But this is what her business card says. The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service is peace. And that was her path. And she really believed in it and taught it in that simple way. And it caught on and went like crazy, and she's had all kinds of followers all her life. This is the kind of book that can be a companion. It's not something you need to feel like you need to read from beginning to end. It's not necessarily something you would sit down and read. It might be a nice companion for other readings. Like maybe you could purchase it, and this would be something I would do like in our reading programs, is pull selections from it in conjunction with other readings on a certain topic. Or you could just return to it yourself personally different topics at different times based on what you want to know more about or understand better. The chapters kind of are prayer, faith, love, service, and peace, based on, and the first one is the simple path, based on those key concepts that she wants to teach. And so you can learn a lot about faith, or what Mother Teresa has to say about love, and that's what I really like about it. I've been through it several times, and I don't actually know at this point if I've actually ever read it cover to cover, but I'll open it, and I'll read some selections on love, or I'll read some selections on faith, and I'll feel really spiritually fed, and it'll really touch my soul. There were some beautiful quotes when I was skimming through before that I thought, oh, I'll read that one on the post, or I'll read that one on the post, but there's so many that are so beautiful. I'll give you a couple that that I really especially love. Let me see if I can find you a couple. Certainly, love is expressed first in being with before doing to someone. As we don't preach, we just do what we do with love. They are touched by God's grace. So there's just little gems all the way through that are kind of the words of Mother Teresa talking about her perceptions of what love is and how it's shared, and that you don't go preaching to everyone and you don't try to do something to them. You just be with them and love them, and what love means and what it can mean and what it can do. So I'm going to link that movie for you. This is Mother Teresa, A Simple Path by Ballantine Books. And it's a fantastic resource. It will tell you a little bit more about her life, and it will give you some insight into her soul, into who she was, into why she did what she did. There's also a fantastic speech that she actually gave to Congress when she came to the States that I will link for you, assuming I can find it again, but it's fantastic. There's a lot of other readings by, mostly largely speeches is what I've read actually by her, because she would go around and speak, but she never really took time to write much. But anyway, I can say that she has made a big impression on my life. She is an inspiration to me. She's someone that I think about on and off. I'll throw that movie in once a year and be reminded of her greatness, and think about her and think about how I can be like her, because she really was phenomenal. She gave herself completely to God and completely to others, and it filled her up. And it's like that principle of losing yourself to find yourself. She really is that person. So please get this book. Use it in your book club. Use it as a personal resource to refresh you and fill you spiritually, and to help you know how to be a better person and be a little bit more like her. Pass this on if it was helpful, and we'll see you next time.